There's no way. It's way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He felt charged.
And he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this scene.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every scene
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Oh, it's time for Rory Rando between Evo and Xemsys. Yeah, it's gonna be a great match, and we're hoping for a close one, not a trolley seed. They're both cuties, but only one wins and advances, but we wish them all the best. Yes, indeed. Evo versus Xemsys, Seed 12 versus Seed 4, both KBM runners, no advantage on that front. Hello, my name is Shafe. I'm joined by Liftoff on commentary. Had a chance to talk to Evo before the race. His practice has been feeling mixed. He's not feeling too confident about his gameplay as of late. He did feel that he had a bit of a execution advantage over Xemsys, particularly with a whole bunch of power skills, but he's pretty sure Xemsys has been practicing that lately, so lacking a little bit of confidence on that front as well. Does believe, though, that if we don't see G-jumps, he can, at the very least, make it competitive. And I asked him, you know, why he was going to throw this race so that he didn't have to face me in the next round, and he said it's going to be a G-jump seed and he's going to get murdered, so... fair enough, Evo. Just kidding, but I love you. Liftoff, what did Zem have to say?
Yeah, I had a chance to speak to Zem, and he's been feeling pretty good. He said that his early game nerves have been slowly calming down as he's been progressing further into the tournament. There's still a thing though sometimes, but on the whole, he thinks that he's going to be fine as long as he gets a reasonable set of skills early on. Speaking of reasonable sets, it's kind of been a tournament meme that most of Xem's seeds have been pretty horrible. So, do you think that trend is going to continue today? Or do you think he's going to buck the trend and finally get the jet seed he wants, the G-jumps, the stomp cancels, the bash?
Oh, no,
What do you think it's going to
it's
be?
a wall jump blue break start, absolutely. Xemsys is not going to get that at all until he's down in the lower bracket. Evo, as you can see on the screen, started playing randos before he ever did any speed running, which allowed him to focus a lot on routing, and he does feel that he has a pretty good read of, you know, how the randomizer expects things or so. And Xemsys, in the meantime, this past week has been focusing on all skills, no out of bounds, teleport anywhere, yes, tumble warp, even though that is not going to be a category that hits the leaderboards, I don't think, anyway, unless there's a specific sort of subcategory, meme category gets implemented. Race is about to begin, and we have to ask the age-old question, of course. Liftoff, the first pickup. What do you have in mind?
I mean, if we're going to get an awful seed, might as well embrace it. I'm gonna say the first three pickups aren't going to be anything, and the fourth is going to be the swamp teleporter.
Swamp TP start. Interesting. I don't think we've seen too many of those so far in this tournament. We do get a keystone here initially, of course, and this next pickup is going to be an energy cell because not being able to save your game is pretty frustrating. You can see the execution parity here in the early going as the runners are basically synced. The only difference really here being the difference in where they decide to hop. Neither runner choosing to hug the rhino. Banned. Get out of here.
Yes.
And
the rhino is vitally important.
Yeah.
For all rando.
All rando. Sometimes you will see runners do that just for extra XP in order to be able to get into Black Root with the save anywhere, but with that early keystone, both runners kind of making the read that they are going to get the Glade start, which we do see a second keystone underneath our base attack ability here. Sign. We're going to allow them to push on into Glades. 2 more pickups left for them before that keystone door, and then fake flippers. Sometimes we do see things underwater, sometimes we don't. Ooh, early routing difference? No, Xemsys just fell off the little mushroom platform there. So Evo with just a very, very slight advantage here heading towards Glades.
Which basically means this race is over already. There's no way
Yep.
Sam is going to catch up.
Yep, thanks for joining us.
1 second disadvantage. Bye. Thanks for watching. No, just kidding. We did a third keystone here. So they already have Glades access. And charge jump, of course. It's a 2021 randomizer tournament seed. What else were we going to get?
Yeah, kind of an interesting possibility there for the runners to alter synced movement on these charge jumps coming up into the ability cell as Evo had a little bit of spaghetti himself and sync pickups here like this. I'm so excited for this race. I can't even tell you. Based on like this, I hope that's what we see this entire race is just a whole bunch of like, sync movement, sync checks, sync trees, sync everything. We are going to see a bit of a divergence here with another keystone that was at the 4th health cell, and Xemsys is going to go ahead and clear out Spirit Caverns first. So we'll see whether or not anything's here. Does take a couple hits of damage, had to play it a bit careful, does get the save down, second energy for Evo in the meantime, as he's going to be heading off towards the wall jump route. Looks like just resources here so far, even Spirit Caverns, lots of ability cells. We might end up actually seeing that early dash. Sometimes a lot of early ACs can mean that we do get dash early on.
Yeah. Nothing groundbreaking in Spirit Caverns. That health cell that Xem picked up on the top left keystone is nice. He's going to be following in Evo's footsteps here. Looks like Evo's ahead a little, but I'm fairly certain that Evo is going to be making those checks that Xem made at a later date as well. So that's an advantage to Evo if Xem ends up having to backtrack through that area again to go through the keystone door at the top. But if not, I think the difference in time will be fairly negligible at this point. We'll see what they do. I would expect Evo to Alt-R at this point once he hits the wall jump tree and enter Blackwood Burrows, but maybe he decides to go back up and enter Spirit Caverns as well. We'll see.
Yeah, with a bunch of extra keystones here, he's still got 5 in his back pocket, and there is one there at Spirit Caverns that we did see on Xemsys' side. Another one here actually on the Frankie Walk pickup as well, so that is an option for him to go directly to Sea Flame Tree. And like you said, Evo not going to have to backtrack through that area again. We'll give him, probably to the tune of maybe a 20-second advantage or so if the randomizer decides that that's where they are going to be heading. Of course, 2 energy here in the early start as well. If they do get up to 4, that will open up Grotto logically with Xemsys' 4th health there for the Dirty Water Swim. And we do see Xem doing a little bit of blind movement here off of the tree. He does like doing that. I don't think he actually got that pickup that was at the energy cell. I think it didn't spawn for him as he was going up there. So the camera's a little bit bent out of shit. There we go, camera's back in. And thankfully, the runners will not have to do the climb ramp here in Black Root, but Evo, just on 3 HP, will have to be a little bit careful, and he proves my point, falling down into the spikes, which deal 3 damage, which is exactly why he places the save there, just as a precaution. Xemsys will have a bit of a buffer with that 4th HP if he does fall down.
Yes, definitely. But that's exactly why you see most runners place the safety save in exactly that spot. Those spikes can be vicious in the early game when you only have 3 health. Something interesting we're seeing here on Evo's side, oftentimes after you collect that XP in the orb room, you Alt-R and go back into Blackwood, but with charge jump it is actually faster to backtrack out of there with some precise jumps, which Evo does, showing his skill at the game. And he is now in the orb room and Xemsys is following close behind. Let's see what the dash tree has to offer for our runners.
Yeah, just a little bit of an auto-scroller section here. The runners will be using a Save Anywhere, which you've already seen. Opportunity for me to explain it real quick, though, for you if you are new to the Ori Rando scene. Basically, we trick the ability menu into thinking that we have closed it when we have not. And then we skill something on the tree, it saves the game. Doing a little close menu thing, as you can see Evo doing right there now, allows you to gain control of Ori and behind the menu, and then when you save, you can do things like skip cutscenes and break floors in certain spots, etc., etc. So Evo is going to be first to this pickup behind the Crushers, out of logic, but good to grab, just because it's typically speaking a resource or possibly information about the location of where Dash might be. In this case, we don't have any real information because it was a keystone. However, we do see a sunstone here for Evo in the early going, which is good to have. One of the required dungeon keys that you need. Of course, that locks the final dungeon that we need to go to beat the game, and also means that he's not going to have to worry about looking at clues that we get on the trees later on to try and find out where that one is. So for the time being, probably just concerned about the water vein. Worth noting, 3 energy is now logical for Evo and Zem as well. So possible opportunity here for an early grotto with either a glitch or perhaps a logical 4th energy coming in shortly.
Yes, indeed. And I think both our runners are going to be happy about that early Sunstone, but also a tiny bit worried because if you have charge jump, you don't need a whole lot of other skills to put Horu into logic, and forced progression Horu always feels bad. So I think our runners are going to be wary about that. I do think our runners would like to take these 3 energy or the potential 4th energy they might find soon into Grotto, but as of yet with the skill set they cannot actually get out of the water in Death Gauntlet. So if they don't find anything down here in this teleporter area, which is out of logic, then I think the only logical play remaining for them is to actually go through the top of Spirit Caverns with their humongous number of keystones they have. I think that's 9 on Evo's side, which means that Evo is going to be saving some time over Xem, because Xem will have to do Spirit Caverns twice. He does have Charge Jump, so it's a pretty quick traversal, but that's still a free time save that I think Evo is going to be very glad to be taking.
Yeah, absolutely, and pretty much not going to key to at all on the Spirit Caverns door. Not a play that you see terribly often, but sometimes runners will elect to do that just so they don't have to worry about keystones for Ginzo later in case they do get early access to it. But still, he's going to have, by the time he's done here in Spirit Caverns, 4+ keystones left in his pockets. So definitely not going to be worried about Ginzo at all. Just needs an additional 4 keystones on top of that for the rest of the right side, and then +4 for left, depending on whether or not they find the Grotto teleporter. So territory we have seen from Xemsys here now on Evo's side, left side of your screen. Nice health count actually for the runners here, already at 6, kind of the number that you want to look at as a bare minimum for entering the final escape. With poison water, depending on what skill sets that you have, it can take anywhere between 5 and 7 HP. So 6 is kind of a nice little intermediary space to be at. Also allows you to negotiate some different areas with a bunch of different damage boosts, and with all these ability points that they're getting, possible early play for Ultra Defense as well to even make that easier. Wouldn't be surprised, however, to see Zem go to Sense in the purple tree, hot cold indicator basically for important pickups.
Yeah, I know that Xem likes the Sense plays. I'm not too sure about Evo's playstyle on that front, but yeah, we see Evo approaching the 3rd tree we have here. And he finds Glide. That's very interesting. That immediately puts to mind the experience above Charge Flame Tree, which comes into logic with that. He's going to be doing some blind movement first, though, and picking up this pickup here at the bottom. If it isn't anything, it's going to have to be that experience up there. And it's just an ability cell. So he's heading straight back up. He's going to pull this lever, and then you can, with just Charge Jump and Glide, get over to there. And I think we've narrowed logic down far enough that this has to be something now. What are you expecting to see on this pickup, Shave?
Teleporter, it would be my guess. It's got to be like ball jump or something else. Otherwise, we're going to find out here in a moment on Evo's side. Yeah, it is 4 energy. And just with Glide as well, is there another teleporter? Oh, you know what? Glazer. Glazer's the other thing that's open with 4 energy now.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, you can see Evo here with a slight lead again, mostly due to that lack of having to backtrack through Spirit Caverns. Would not be surprised to see this be either climb or wall jump behind Glazer, which would give them access into Grotto via that 4th energy. But comfy skill set otherwise here in the early going. Always nice to have Glide out of the way so that reversal through Sorrow a little bit easier, particularly if the water vein is going to be hiding there. A lot of different spots that are hard to reach without Glide. So nice for the runners to have that, and also just in general some aerosol for other areas like Misty as well. So yeah, absolutely the last pickup in logic here, forcing Evo to go and check it. You're going to see Xemsys. I think he kind of wondered a little bit for a second. Ooh, grenade, yeah, so spider sack area is what we see here. And I think Evo's going to drop down and just head immediately to the Sea Flame tree. Or will he go up to grenades or no? Yeah, so he's going to go back up through Sea Flame because there's a plant that he can check on the way, and then head off to the right side, sort of the vanilla intended way. So liftoff, we kind of got a little bit of both sort of scenarios for Zem. He finally got his charge jump start, but it's just charge jump blue break for right side.
Definitely. I like this play from Evo. He's heading over back here into Valley Entry. There's 2 checks in here that he can get with the skill set, and they're fairly quick, but they're easy to orphan because he's passed by this area. So good on him to remember that. Picking up the guaranteed 100 XP on a non-randomized pickup, and he finds Bash.
Bash. Oh, colossal pickup for the runners. Okay, so it's important to note here with Evo getting that pickup. Zem might opt to actually skip Valley Entry for now. It's a play that a lot of runners do like to do just because it is only 3 pickups over on that side. But now Evo can, and yeah, he's going to Altar, he's going to refill his energy, and he's going to go into Grotto via Bash, I would imagine, after checking this pickup at Dilly's stash. So eyes on the right-hand side, because this is going to be an important...
And there's wall jump.
Ooh, nice.
So many skills.
Okay, no, Xemsys is going for it too, so we are going to have skill parity here.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to mention earlier, and then we found tons of skills all in quick succession. We got our first hint when both our runners hit the charge flame tree. The hint. Do you quickly want to talk about the hint system and maybe also how relevant the hint that we got that the Gumatsu losing Blackroot is going to be?
We are hoping that it is not even slightly relevant, but we'll have to see how that pans out. The clue system functions when the runners hit 3, 6, and 9 trees. Speaking of 6, 9, there's 6, 9 experience there for Evo off one of the pickups there above Death Gauntlet. Nice experience value to have. But yeah, 3, 6, and 9 trees, they will get a clue to the location of one of the dungeon keys in a randomized order. And so, yeah, the first one is for the Gumon Seal. They already have the Sunstone, so entirely possible that we'll see the Water Vein clue on tree 9, which will be a little bit unfortunate for the runners, but with this opening skill set, I'm sure something that they're going to be able to manage quite readily. About the only thing at this point that would really blockade them is going to be a Stomp Block pickup, and there's a few of them they can even negotiate with Bash as well, so... Evo with a little bit of an early lead here, still in Grotto, maintaining that advantage that he had off of the early game. I like that save scum that he did there in Teeth Corridor. Dentist's Cabinet opens up this door to Glide Vault. Will progression be here? Is the question. As Zem opens up an SA. It's a health cell. He's probably going to end up keeping that, I imagine. Yeah, and an energy cell. Always nice to have 5th energy so you can save after opening a 4 energy door. So he's going to glitch this bridge into an open state and then head off to the right to check some couple pickups next to the Water Vein location. And this is definitely a skill set left off that the runners can just basically hammer out the right side trees and try and get another clue.
Yeah, definitely. This is hardcore lumberjack mode for runners of this caliber. One thing that's interesting though, Evo is slightly ahead of Xem. Both in progression, but also one thing that we should point out is that Xem did not check Billy's stash and is lacking wall interaction that Evo has. He does have Bash Grenade, so I don't think he's going to have much trouble checking stuff. But some things like, for example, he's not going to be able to check the pickup in the water down here and then get out of the water again. So he's just going to have to save scum both that health cell and that energy cell. I'm sure he would have liked to keep both of them. I would be very surprised if Xem never checks wall jump, but I do think he's going to be bleeding small amounts of time with that one skill that he's missing on Evo. Meanwhile, Evo has dropped down here into Grotto, and as we assumed, he's lumberjacking quite hard. That is going for all the trees that he can, checking just the pickups that are extremely along the way. This is a very, very powerful skill set. They can do almost everything. The very top of Mount Horu isn't logic at this point.
Yeah. Dash for Xemsys, that's massive. I don't know if Evo's going to be going back for that because of how aggressive that he's playing here. Going straight to the double jump tree. A lot of times you'll see runners at least dip down to that area that Xemsys did, and this time paying off in spades for Zem. That advantage that Evo had is now nullified and in Xemsys' hands firmly. You're going to see Zem catch up to Evo real quick with this extra zoomy, being able to charge dash, use rocket jumps, all that good stuff. We do hope that Evo drops back down there just for skill parity, and like it's entirely possible if the rando gods are mean and the water vein is somewhere that Evo gets it first. Like, he's still going to be in a pretty good position, but the longer that he goes without going down into lower left grotto, the more this is going to hurt. He is coming back in through Death Gauntlet, which is a little bit faster with Bash Nade to do this. Well, we're hoping that we see him drop down, but Xemsys, he's pretty much got this as a go mode skill set, I would think. I would be very surprised to see Xemsys do a whole lot of extraneous checks.
Yeah, like you said, unless the water vein is stomp locked, Xemsys can do everything he has to with the skill set. He just needs the resources. He would probably like some more energy, particularly to be able to do some more charge dashes and go extra speedy. And you can see how much he's just saving everywhere just by having access to this one powerful skill in the form of dash. He was behind by like 20 seconds getting into grotto, and now he's pulled level and is going to be reaching the charge jump, not the charge jump, the stomp tree first. So that dash really making a huge difference.
Yeah. It is worth noting that there are a couple of stomp block pickups again that we can use Frankie Lures for, or this trick that you're seeing from Evo, the Hell Stomp, where you charge jump and then bash and nade downwards. That basically allows you to abuse the charge jump's aura in order to be able to get a pickup. That is only... It's got very limited use, but it does have its uses. But there are some hard-locked stomp pickups behind pegs as well, and you can see Xemsys here now has pulled ahead lead, probably to the tune of about 10 or 12 seconds, just on the basis of having dash and getting charge dash efficiency on the stomp tree as well. Going to give him double the amount of charge dashes, and yeah, this is a really good position for Xem to be in. Still a good position for Evo as well, but obviously he doesn't know that he's missing dash, and it is sad times on that front.
Yeah.
It's the state of the race. We've got 5 trees apiece here once Evo completes this area. And we're going to see Xemsys immediately go down to Grenade. Going to be luring this Frankie Marvin. This is why we made particular care to not kill him, because he's one of the few enemies that doesn't respawn in the game, and we can use him to break the floor that leads down into Lost Grove via this dash lure that Xemsys is doing, or a dash lure that Evo can probably do here, or walking over the Crushers. Either way, plenty of ways to get Marvin to work to our advantage here. Evo's also in a good spot, worth noting on his ability cells for the zombie Ori that he's going to have to do to get into Grenade. Xemsys is not going to have to worry about that. He can just dash past the laser. But Evo taking a slight death here. This is a harder setup for him for sure with just charge, jump, and bash than it is for Xemsys with the dash lure, but does get Marvin up onto this platform and is luring him over the top across the teleporter. This is a bit of a finicky position. There you go. Gets the jump, very nicely done. And Xemsys, with the save anywhere, skips one of the longest cutscenes in the game, and is going to be on tree number 6 here shortly, and we'll find out whether or not it is the water vein clue.
Yeah.
Nope.
Worth noting, it is not. Worth noting, it's kind of interesting how synced up in their routing these two runners have been. They've basically been doing exactly the same going for the exact same trees, doing basically the same checks, having basically the same skills. Evo is up a wall jump, Xemsys is up a dash, which is furthering his lead as the seed goes on. But they've been basically doing the exact same areas in the exact same order, so that's just kind of interesting to see. Here you can see Evo doing a trick called a zombie Ori to get through this laser that Xemsys could just dash past, and you can see that he's spending his abilities in the purple tree instead of the blue tree. Understandable, since he doesn't have dash and doesn't know that it's on the map. Do you want to talk about the purple tree briefly and what it does?
Purple tree is basically a utility tree, whereas the blue tree is sort of a skill augmentation tree. And so the purple one right now, as Evo levels up into that, is going to slowly allow him to basically farm more experience. Everything up to Spirit Light efficiency is sort of geared in that direction. Well, not everything, but like that's kind of the point of it. And then you use that extra XP to spend the extra ability points how you want, probably pushing towards Sense for another skill. if you want, there at the top of the purple tree. The augmentation one, the blue one, is the one that gives you the charge dash, the triple jump, the ultra defense, all that good stuff. So Evo is now at tree parity with Xemsys. Xemsys is going to very quickly, with a very nice kill plane skip there, utilizing Bash and Nade, be heading on to Feather, getting tree number 7, and I imagine with rocket jumps is going to have a very easy traversal up into Sorrow as well for tree 8, saving tree 9 for Misty last, that being just because of the way Misty is orchestrated, you have basically one entrance in and one exit out, as opposed to some of the other areas where you can navigate your way into various different points of it. With Misty being a one-way, you want to save that for your last clue so that you can basically check everything on your way to the climb tree, and then if you get the Water Vein and Misty clue on your 9th tree, then you can just know that you can continue. Otherwise, you might be very sad and have to come back. And yeah, the routing decisions here, the routing parity, the sameness is continuing as Evo. It's up through the Charge Flame area. Did skip the Grove teleporter, didn't have that before, so he has to come here and do the exact same Furuncular that Zem did. His routing up to Feather is going to be a little bit different, though. He's going to have to head along the right side instead of doing the kill plane skip.
Yeah. And since both of our runners have the Sunstone, which they found very early, they don't have to actually do fast Stompus. They can just use the Wilhelm Frog that spawns once you have the Sunstone, use his projectile to break the rocks, so that's good random knowledge on their part. Sam messing up Sorrow Bash on his first attempt here. That's okay, it's a very difficult trick. You have to be very precise in the positioning of your birds. But yeah, you can just see again how Xem has just pulled ahead off of that dash find, and how just everything is easier for him. Evo will have the advantage in some cases. Still, Xem still doesn't have voluntary action. But he does have Bash Nade. So while some stuff is maybe a little more awkward for him, I don't think there are many things that he flat out can't do. And Dash makes a lot of things easier. Like this rocket jump, where he jumps up to bait a shot of that frog to break the ceiling and ascend the main shaft in Sorrow very quickly.
Ooh, clean water for Evo, actually. With this health, perhaps not necessarily important. Depends on the water vein location. If it's deep in swamp, that's actually really good for Evo, because he's going to be able to go and check that in very short order. Opting to go for the fast stompless setup instead of using Wilhelm. If he's comfortable with this, totally understand that. That's fine, he gets it. I'm actually surprised, though.
Let's go, Evo.
Yeah, amazing job by Evo. Worth noting here that, like, despite not having dash, like, Evo's level of execution is actually still keeping him in this race. But I am sort of surprised he didn't go up to Sorrow first, because he's basically going to have to go back through that valley area that he was just in order to be able to go up to Sorrow without dash. So it could mean that he might decide, okay, well, I'll go to Misty early, but no, yeah, he's going to go back through that. So, and that's fine. Like, that's just a decision that you make in the middle of the race, right? It's not like better or worse or anything. It's just, you know, something I'm interested that he didn't do. Because he is, I suppose, going to have to do a pretty nasty mortar shot double bash here in Sorrow as well. So we do see Xemsys utilizing this frog right side of your screen. That bird is probably the biggest jerk in the game. Does get the frog shot, bashes that projectile down, opens it up, and is going to be full clearing everything in Misty. Hoping to find the water vein en route, but in just a couple minutes' time, we are going to get... Ooh, Cozy Seed. Nice.
Definitely Cozy.
We'll get the clue for the water vein here in short order, and be able to get a better idea about the state of the race and whether or not Evo can come back into this without having dash.
Yeah, at this point, Evo is basically hoping for a stomp lock water vein. I think that's the only thing that could realistically stop Xem from taking this race at this point. He is at a sizable lead at this point, and I think he's experienced enough and knowledgeable enough to get to basically any pickup with the skill set, except the ones that are, once again, hard stomp locked. So I think that's Evo's hope at the moment, even though, of course, he doesn't know that, because our runners can't watch each other, of course. That's the whole point of the randomizer, to show off your routing. Xemsys is making very short work of Misty. Has to take a damage boost here. Gets health regen 1. That's actually kind of nice. It allows you to basically take one additional tick of damage than you would take otherwise. So that's always great. Can be the difference between life or death in some situations. And now he's going to hit up his 9th tree, and we're going to see where the water vein is.
And it
it's
is in swamp. Wow, okay, so this is potentially massive for Evo. Because Zem has not really been pushing the blue tree all that hard after getting charged at, and only has 4 ability points. So Ultra Defense currently not an option for Xemsys. So if the water vein is buried in the swamp swim, Evo's in a fantastic position right now with clean water. Xemsys is going to have to run around and do more digging for health, or Ultra Defense, or some other shenanigans, do like save drop crap, and probably not even be able to go deep into the swamp swim. If it's the first half of the swamp swim, he might be okay. But otherwise, he's going to need more resources for sure to be able to do those checks. So this is a really, really good spot for Evo right now.
Yeah.
And he's going to be hitting his tree 8 here with charge jump. Does key dupe here. He does have 4 keystones right now, but doesn't want to worry about having to dig for keystones for Ginzo. I like that. Oh, grenade jumps for Zem. Finds climb in the outer swamp loop.
His prayers have been answered. This is such a cozy skill set for him. I'm sure Xemsys is going to be very happy with this.
Yeah, a little bit late for him to be getting G-jumps. Ooh, okay, no, his save was right there. I thought that was a bigger death than it was. Alright, so just a couple of checks here left for Zem, basically. He's got a mortar shot locked pickup, since he doesn't have stomp over here, and then a grenade lock pickup. He's checked that plant already. And after that, it's basically swim pickups. If it's not the grenade swim pickup or these last few checks here in Outer Swamp, definitely good for Evo's. Evo, speaking of, has Alt-Ard, has his 8th tree at charge jump and enough keystones in his pocket. Will be interesting to see. He's likely going to be checking everything on the way in through Misty, but maybe if he feels behind, he might just actually gamble it and just go straight to the climb tree. Will be interesting to see how he decides to play that. Fortunately, like you said, I mean, obviously both runners are in here blind because it's a randomizer, but he's not going to know how behind he is or isn't. And does want to just do a couple quick checks here in Lower Valley, probably hoping for that climb for grenade jumps or dash here, and is not going to be rewarded with either, unfortunately. No locations of both of those. And in the meantime, yeah, Zem here on the right side has cleared, I believe, most everything that he can access that is not somewhere underwater. So basically, I think one more pickup here, and then we'll be able to know whether or not it's the Swamp Swim. 5 ability points, though, for Xemsys. Don't know exactly how far away he is from Ultra Defense.
I don't think that's quite enough. There is still the energy cell left above here, which he can either glide wind to or grenade jump. He's just taking the easy route. But that's just a map zone. So the one easy pickup he still has access to is the grenade lock pickup over here at the right. He has to go back up to the stomp tree, misses his rocket jump first try, to activate the grenade lantern and then get it underwater where there's only a very short swim. That's not going to be a problem with his health. The main swamp swim is going to be a problem for him, though. I don't think the abilities that he has are enough for him to get ultra defense. He might be able to get to a couple of them with a save drop, but never mind.
It is the grenade lock pickup. All right. Yep, he's in a good position here now.
He's not out, by the way.
Oh.
He remembers that it's probably faster to just go to the Ginso tree from here.
Fair enough. Wind restored also, and missing. Kind of funny, but it's there. But yeah, Xemsys now in a very commanding position. He's got 9 trees. He has the key for Ginzo, which will be the 10th and final that he needs, holding this SA up for some reason. I'm not terribly sure why.
Maybe he wants to skip the Gumo cutscene outside of the Ginso tree and then get the Swamp TP before going in. That's like
yeah, probably
the only.
Yeah, exactly what he's doing. Yeah, to Evo's credit, by the way, like, he hasn't had dash this whole time, and he's actually not that far behind Xemsys. Like, he has been playing extremely well. The only real difference in this race has been dash. Otherwise, we would probably see this come down to the final escape or, you know, just some routing in that hunt for the water vein. But, you know, like, Evo's probably only... If he beelines for that grenade pickup instead of trying to do the swamp swim, he's probably only like 3 or 4 minutes behind, which is like pretty incredible without dash.
Yeah, definitely. Evo has been playing very well. It's just unfortunate that he decided to not check those 2 pickups in the lower left grotto that Xem did. Kind of just what happens in Rando sometimes. He's still been showing that he's a very good player, and I think anybody who comes up against him in his future matches, whether that be the as it's looking likely right now, the lower bracket or the upper bracket, is definitely going to know that he's a fearsome opponent all the same.
Another save. Xemsys loves these save anywheres. He's going to be doing blind movement at the bash tree with this one. Skipping all the pickups, of course. He doesn't need anything else. He can beat the seed here with the skill set. And ooh, the grenade jump setup. Yeah, lands in front of the tree. Very nice.
Love that
points.
grenade jump.
That's so good.
So cool.
We do get grenade jumps for Evo, though. He did find climb. He is going to be completing the outer swamp loop checks here. So some of that speed disparity has been leveled out because grenade jumps do allow you to go quite fast. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Xemsys would have to do the equivalent of 19 Ganon falls in Link to the Past Randomizer in order for Evo to come back in this one, unfortunately. But very well played by both runners. A very close race, even despite that early dash differential. And yeah, this is... I don't want to face either of these.
Odds are you will, though.
Maybe. Guard's a
Maybe.
good runner.
Maybe.
Yeah, so just as something to talk about, the winner of this race is going to face either me or Guard. And yeah, Guard is not an opponent to be taken lightly at all. I've been watching some of his practice and in the streams even before the tournament. And like he's a really solid player, and all it takes is missing one pickup, as we see evidenced here in this race, for things to be able to swing in one direction or the other. So definitely not a guarantee at all that I'm going to be facing Xem, but I hope so, because I want to hug him, but in a race.
And Xem has entered Horu, got a nice G-jump across Horu Fields, and has done I think that was a first try door warp, and is entering the final escape right now. He just has to complete this sequence, and is going to end up doing a very, very fast seed. This might end up being a sub 36, which is a great time for any kind of seed. Xem has played this super well.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically just needs to get that grenade jump at the end. Remember to bash left Xem. Ooh, charge dashing straight into the lava pillar, taking a bit of a short death. That definitely can happen when you have charge dash efficiency and about 4 million energy. Just be spamming it all the time and take deaths. Does go for a quick attempt on that G-jump through the elemental room, but when he misses it, very nice, just quick adaptation by Xem there to bash the elemental projectile and continue on. Didn't worry about looking to set that up again. The poison water here, not a big deal with his health count. Kuro trigger skip. Yes, that was very, very close to that burning ball of fire. Xem, don't scare me like that.
He bashes left. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
And GG, Xem.
Yep. No soft lock. He's got Ori running to the right. That is a GG and will be approximately a 35-30-ish. And just an incredible performance from both of the runners, honestly, here.
Oh no, Evo's going to do the whole swim before he's going to find the water vein. That's just rubbing salt in the wound at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's an invalid option or anything like that.
Oh no, definitely.
It's like it's a decision you make, right?
Yeah, that's just the way the rando is sometimes. It could have paid off massively. Just turns out that it didn't. Luckily it's not going to be what decides the race, but it's still gonna sting a little when he's going to last location, that water vein.
And that's a 35-29 final time for Xemsys. Very well done. So yeah, Evo's gonna burn a little bit of time here in the swim. He's got 3 more pickups to check before he's pretty much gonna last location the water vein at that grenade block pickup. Again, Xemsys is going to be facing either me or Guard in the next round. I'm just Guard has just messaged me the other day, and he's like, I just want to check my schedule basically on Monday, and then we'll get that scheduled for probably no later than the next weekend, maybe as early as Wednesday or Thursday. So these runners, Xemsys rather, will not have to wait too long to find out who they're facing. Quick reminder as well that we do have a couple more matches that are scheduled this week. Tuesday, September the 7th, To-Do versus Fluffy Prower is going to be happening at 2 o'clock Eastern. And Wednesday at 4 Eastern, Sirius versus Fupio. Keep your tabs on your Speed Gaming schedule to find out exactly which channel that's going to be on, but it will be on the Speed Gaming network.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here we see Evo approaching I think it's his last swamp pickup. And he's going to be finding his water vein and closing this seed out in short order, showing off some swanky grenade jumps directly into spikes. But that doesn't really matter. He has 9 health. That's more than enough to tank a few spike hits. Not all R'ing out here, out of reflex as Xem did. So that's going to be saving him like 4 seconds. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Another swanky grenade jump? No. He decides against it.
Yeah,
well, he decides not to go back for it.
I know Evo's playstyle. It, like me with grenade jumps, is kind of very hit or miss. We either hit all of them or none of them. So basically what he does is that he goes for it, and if he whiffs it, he just continues on. And I like that. Right into Ringo, very nice. Ringo deserves it. Ringo. Evo
Sure
was
does.
paying attention to race time, does know Xemsys is finished, but we'll be closing out the seed. And Xemsys, who took a bit of a break to calm down, understandably so, after, sir, you got your wish. You got a jet seed, pretty much. And how are you feeling about finally getting something that isn't just wall jump blue break for 30 minutes?
Oh my god, I am so happy with the seed. I think I got basically everything I like in Ori. I mean, Storm Cancels would have been nice, but can't have all of that, right? Let's keep that for next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's next seed.
yeah. We need to see who's got the better stomp cancels between you and either me or Guard. So we're gonna find out. Yeah. So the way that this one played out, Zem, is basically Evo missed dash, and that's it. Like, you guys have routed pretty much identically, and Evo had a bit of an early lead until that dash find, and honestly, I think this probably would have come down to execution in the final escape had he found dash. Like, that's how evenly matched you guys have been throughout this race here. And for him to only be like 5 minutes or so behind you without having dash, like, just I want to express like my appreciation for Evo's gameplay as well as yours.
Oh, that's incredible. Actually, I thought when so I haven't been able to watch Evo play for a long time. So when I found Bash and Valley Entry, which is a thing that a lot of runners like to skip, I felt very comfortably ahead at that point. But seems that was only the case once I got Dash.
Yeah,
yeah.
Evo actually had a skill advantage on you until that point because he found wall jump and the grenade locked pickup directly to the left of spawn, which you never checked for some reason. But you did end up finding the superior form of wall interaction for your skill set anyway at the end. So I don't think you were missing it too much.
That's true. I was thinking. So my idea there was I would check Valley Entry, Alt R, check Grenade Lock at spawn, and if all of that is nothing, I save spam back into the loop. Then Bash was there, and I just completely ignored that grenade tree existing from there on.
Understandable.
Fair enough. So, yeah, when you found dash, like, you basically had everything else at that point, minus climb. What was your heart rate at that point? Like, what were you thinking? Like, how aggressive were you wanting to play at that juncture?
At Dash or?
At dash, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I immediately started skipping half of Grotto, right, when I found that. I was also very comfortable on energy and health, so I was just checking a bit because I was on 0 ACs and needed 2 for Grenade Tree afterwards. So I was collecting a bit there. Then the C-dash efficiency came in the stomp area, and then I needed even less resources. The only time I got really scared was in the end when water vein was guaranteed to be underwater. I was already starting to set up a level up on the fishes and all of that, because I found that mega health way earlier in Valley, and somehow that got deleted when I reloaded at some point. And
Oh no. That's
there went my safety buffer for the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I actually saw you. I wasn't too sure if you were farming for the level up timing on the fish, or if you were trying to get more ability cells for ultra defense, but that totally makes sense. Clean water, by the way, was the XP leading up to Fast Plus.
Oh
Which
yeah,
Evo found because he didn't have dash. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
could
you
have been
just-
the great equalizer, but
Yeah.
it turned out it wasn't in this case.
All right, man. So, how scared are you to face me in the next round?
I mean, so the fun part begins next round, right? When we finally get to play best of threes.
Threes, yes!
I am
Oh,
so
sorry.
excited for best of threes. It also means I am no longer scared about getting randoed. If you win 2 over me, that's then you deserve to win over me, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just really excited. But Shave, you forgot something.
Oh, what
Gotta
did I-
deal with guard first.
Yeah, I know, scary. Yeah, we're gonna be scheduling that for some time in the middle of the week or later, so you won't have to wait too long to find out who your opponent is.
Yeah,
Evo will be dropping down to the lower bracket to face Henri once he has finished out this seed, by the way. You were saying liftoff?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out to Xem that his dream of the potential best of 13 is still alive and well. So fingers crossed for that. Yeah,
Nice.
Evo's just finishing up the final escape here on the left. He's not been having much trouble either. Dash is nice, but it doesn't do much in these final rooms. He remembers to bash to the left as well. Right is wrong, as we learned recently. Setting up for the final grenade jump, doesn't get it first try, going for it again, and there he goes. GG to Evo as well. He's played fantastically. Just unfortunate that he missed out on that one single pickup that ended up deciding the race. GG to him though.
Yep, pretty much, and that is rando for you. Of course, he still does have an opportunity to continue on. Lower bracket is a thing in this tournament, so you do have to get defeated twice in order to have your tournament life end, but he will have an opportunity to continue on and possibly fight his way back up into the grand finals later on. That'll be about a 43-58 or so for Evo as he's going to finish up. And yeah, just excellent race to watch, excellent race to commentate. Thank you for joining us, Zem. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for commentating.
You're very welcome. We've had a lot of fun. Evo, GG.
I love you so
Evo.
much. You played that like as good as you possibly could have. You missed dash in lower left grotto.
I missed
That-
dash. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And,
I
and
get
that
a go mode skill set, and I literally miss that.
Yeah, and that was it. Like, you guys were so evenly matched up to that point. Like, you had maybe a 10-second advantage. You were trading the advantage in the early game pretty much, and then, like, even after that, though, I think up till charge jump, basically up until the dig for the water vein, like, you were only like 90 seconds behind or so, 120 seconds behind. Like, you were playing exceptionally well, given that you didn't have dash. And so I just wanted to applaud you for that. That was a really good performance by you.
Why do I skip lower left grotto ever?
Ever.
Why?
I'm telling you, but you're not listening.
I
Thank
had
you.
a go mode skill set. There's no reason to check it. It's slow. I hate this game. I hate this game.
Ori hug, Evo.
Sorry, Hag.
All been there, Evo. Definitely. feel
And then, of course, the very, very last check water vein.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Zem also
Also not
last
great.
checked that, I think. Well, he didn't have clean water, so that was his like last easy check to do. But yeah, you would have actually been in a good position even without dash if it ended up being deep in the swamp swim because you had clean water and Zem didn't.
Well, GG.
Mhm.
I'm sad I missed dash in an easy location, but GG.
It is how it is, man. Rando be rando. So yeah, your thoughts on that seed generally having that early go mode skill set. I mean, aside from missing dash, how did you feel about how you played that one?
For the most part, I thought I played pretty well. I was kind of questioning my decision to do Feather when I did, because having to climb back up is kind of a pain in the butt.
Mhm.
So I was thinking maybe I should have just gone Sorrow first and then come back down, but I don't think it really mattered in the long run.
No, not too
Yeah,
much. I
you-
did point that out as like a potential option for you to have done. It kind of was like, interesting. But, decisions that you make in the middle of a race, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it really does.
Yeah, that one is minimal at best.
it
But
wasn't the
overall, I
difference
felt
maker.
like I played it as well as I could. Like, I figured I'd be more spaghetti than that, but aside from a few very small deaths, I think I did really well in actual movement and getting around the map.
Yeah, your
Okay.
movement was definitely super clean, and it definitely a joy to watch. The difference in final times really doesn't reflect how well both of you played in this race.
Oh, I know what kind of time save dash gives. Trust me.
Yeah. And that's basically all the difference really was, aside from you doing the main swamp swim, really.
Yeah,
But,
well, my thoughts behind that were I could go all the way up and get a lantern check, which would take honestly longer than getting the 4 checks underwater. So
yeah, for sure.
it was
Yeah.
just an odds play at that point.
Yep, for sure. Makes sense. So, you're still alive, of course. You will be in the lower bracket, on to face Henri. Your thoughts on him as an opponent?
Well, he's been doing pretty well. He's beaten some scary opponents already in Grem and Hal. So going into that, I'm not necessarily scared, but looking forward to a good match.
I think all of us are definitely looking forward to watching it because it's very likely going to be a lot of fun to watch.
100%, 100%. All right. I think that about does it. Evo, Xemsys, excellent race, my friends. GG to both of you. Good luck on your future matches, and thanks for joining us.
GG,
Thank
you
you
two have
again.
fun racing. I believe it is in fact you two, Zem and Shafe.
No,
Well,
I still got
Chef
a
has
face
to beat
guard.
Card, but
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that match
haven't.
hasn't happened yet.
No, we're gonna have that lined up for
I thought
later
that
on in
was
the week.
I thought that was supposed to be earlier this week, and I'm
Yeah, stuff came up, so we've had to push it back a little bit.
well.
So-
Good luck to you, Shafe, in your race versus guard, and
Thank
then
you.
Zem, you versus Shafe and guard.
And guard.
At
Ooh,
the
both of
same
them.
time.
2v1.
2v1. Let's go. Doubles versus singles.
Nice, nice. All right. Friendly reminder: we do have Dedu and Fluffy Power coming up on Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern, Wednesday 4 o'clock. It's going to be Sirius versus Bupio, and that is our currently slated schedule for more Ori Rando action. My name is Shafe, been joined by Liftoff on comms. Thank you very much, Liftoff. Appreciate having you.
You're very welcome. I've had a lovely time watching a great race and doing some comms with you. I will also just thank Skull and Turtle in our truck, helping us keep track of everything behind the scenes, and Jamal for being our broadcaster. And of course, all of you lovely people out there for watching. Have a good evening, and see you for the next match.
Bye.